You're listening to Real Estate and Bourbon. Whether you like it neat or on the rocks, you're in the right place. And now your host, Dawn Roy.
Well, let me tell you, folks, welcome, my lovelies. We've got another episode for you, and I can't wait to share the time with you and my sweet and precious Susan Morris, who is...
I love it.
You're a regular now, just a staple. We've adopted you. You're in.
Yeah, I'm down.
I'm just saying.
I
She
don't
was
have my
left
shoes
at our
on.
doorstep.
She got left on our door. You know, Michael thinks he's funny. This is how techie guys, every time she comes to the podcast, he flings the door open and he goes, "Oh, were you supposed to be here?"
Yeah. Are you here?
I've turned into my dad jokes.
You've turned into your dad.
You could be on the Progressive commercials.
Yeah, absolutely. I've turned into my dad. But no, I mean, I think what we do is really funny. And the conversations go in so many places and we might start here and it goes way over there. And
Yeah, that's what happens when you sit and chat with good friends.
that's how it goes. And you're drinking good bourbon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are we drinking
So
today?
this is Blade and Bow. Now listen, I to all the bourbon aficionados out there in the world, the girl in me, when I don't know what to buy, I buy the bottle shape and
I would've
size.
bought
It's
that
about
bottle.
packaging, right? That's a lot of everything's about packaging. And this one has a little key, and it's a Lexington, Kentucky bourbon, and I splashed this on because I had another bottle open, but I just wanted to keep this one sealed because it's so pretty. And it's about a 91 proof, so not too spicy. And I love it. It's a nice smooth bourbon. But that is kind of my buying business model when I don't know what, and I'm looking at in the big
There's so many.
rows, and I will ask the
Yeah.
store people, the ABC guys, what do they think? And then oftentimes I will go for pretty packaging, as it were.
Most of us do.
They have entire marketing
Are
departments.
you the type of person that when they open something, they gently try to open the packaging?
Yes, and I keep the boxes.
Keep the boxes and stuff.
Isn't that
Oh
sad?
no, I rip through that thing like it's my job.
I do. I keep the box.
I try to
keep
go
the
that way, and then it
packaging.
turns into ripping the box. I'm frustrated.
So like the bourbon we had a few podcasts ago, which was the Yamazaki, it's the Japanese whiskey. It comes in a box, and I had.
You know,
so I
my
kept
husband has that one.
I kept the box.
It's really pretty.
Oh, it's beautiful, and it's the lovely gold foil. It's really nice, and I keep. Listen, I'm so dorky. I've got an attic for every computer I buy, everything. I have all the boxes.
Why?
Well, if I resell it,
Yeah,
then I've got the box.
Nobody's
Yeah.
buying a computer from 1982. Throw that shit away.
That's just a little rough. That was just a little hard.
Sorry. You may want to reconsider recycling those to maybe someone
Well,
who
I
doesn't
am
have
having
a
to.
computer.
So this is what's going on in my life because I know people want to know. Because I have such an interesting life. Not really.
You do.
I don't. So my precious brother, who I adore more than life itself,
Yeah.
has sold his home in Dallas and is moving back to the East Coast. And he
yeah.
also has a home in Northern Virginia, which has been leased for, the last 10 years when he moved to Dallas, because he's a pilot, the Southwest. And so he has a lease, and I think the lease ends like next July or August. So guess what gets to happen for me?
He's coming to live in your closet.
He ain't gonna come live my man. We're gonna have my fun. It's gonna be so awesome. And I've been going through closets and finding these damn computers.
Treasures.
Things that I should have. I mean, 2 walk-in closets that I'm like, how did they the boxes mate with one another? How did that happen? How did I get this much stuff? And I've called both of the kids and said, this is the deal. Uncle Chris is going to start his drive to Virginia on November the 1st. You've got till that weekend before Halloween weekend to come over to the house and get the treasures from your childhood.
Did you say the same thing to yourself?
Okay, I'm talking about my children. So so you've got until, or it's going to Goodwill and or said trash.
So there is a company called Tech for Troops.
That will come and get stuff like that.
I don't know if they'll come get it, but they'll take it.
Gotcha.
Just
Thank you.
You're
But that's what's happening.
just in case. You only need
Also, what's happening is we're on Alexa.
Oh my gosh, we're on Alexa. So Did you know that?
Yeah.
It's so freaking funny. So he goes, we're on Alexa. And I'm like, so what does that mean? He goes, well, tell your Alexa, do you have an Alexa? I'm like, yeah. She tells me the weather, stuff like that. He goes, well, tell her to play Real Estate in Bourbon. And I did. And she did. I was like, what?
Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you, N-word.
Eddie Haskell.
So precious. He's going to make an appearance at some point. We're going to talk about him so much. But
Yeah.
But yeah, isn't that cool?
I
It's
think
really
it's
cool.
fantastic. So all to the viewing public who are far more techie than I mean, I literally was like, I'm texting him like, so what do I have to do? He goes, Dawn, do you have an Alexa? Yes. Tell it to play.
Yeah. Alexa's very dangerous.
It can be useful and dangerous at the same time. When Owens knows he's in trouble, he tells Alexa, put 10 minutes on the clock because he knows he's going to
He's
timeout.
going down. He's going down.
I haven't even said the words yet. And he's like, Alexa, 10 minutes on the clock.
Was it last year,
That's
year before
funny.
last, the little guy, like little 5-year-old, Alexa, is Santa real? Yeah. The dad comes in, he's
Oh,
like,
man.
Alexa's a liar. She's a liar. She's a liar. Turn
She's
it
a
off.
liar. She's a liar.
She doesn't know what she's talking about.
So I'm going to read some comments from the Zillow Buster videos. So you guys are hilarious. Also a big fan of the pumpkin. So I guess anything pumpkin.
Pumpkin donut.
Uh-huh.
All of well, and as I have a partially eaten donut right here.
You guys are hilarious. Of course you are. Great job, guys.
Nice.
I mean, it's just like everyone's loving the videos. Love it. Love it. You guys are great. Rock stars.
Nice. Thanks,
Aw.
y'all.
Yeah, back at you. You know what? Well, you guys know I'm in the process of trying. I'm thinking about buying a car. My soon-to-be daughter-in-law, her car is pretty much at the end of its life. It's got like 300,000 miles on this Honda that she drives to Cumberland County every day. And the little mama bear in me is like, you can't do that anymore. So she's gonna get my car, and I'm looking for another car. So what I've been doing is I might apologize to all the little car salespeople out there, but every time I go try something out, I text them the podcast link, and they have to subscribe.
You know what you should
as
do?
part of the deal.
You know what you should do if you want to go, if you like really hard pressed, and you know that Toro company, you can rent Toros, the car. You can rent
Yes.
Why don't you rent a car that you can have longer than just a test drive and have it for the
Just
day,
have fun in it.
for the weekend?
You loan me your car, Susan, for
Absolutely.
125 a day. Can't go over 100 miles.
Just make sure that it's
clean when you
bring it back.
That's exactly right.
Because when
But
you get it, it's going to be dirty.
it's gonna be dirty, and it will have no gas in it. But no, I think, and the one that gets the most response from these guys, that is, I send them that Zillow Busters video. It's like 3 minutes. It's not huge.
No.
And they think it's so funny.
It's because it is funny.
And they have a lot of stories about customers. We might need to get a car guy on the show, because they've got the stuff
Compare
that they.
notes.
Oh my God, the stuff that they
Yeah.
get done. You know what I told them? Because we've done this in our industry for a long time, or it's the practice, whether realtors do it or not. But the practice is you need to know or have material knowledge someone's qualified to buy a home before you start traipsing them through other people's homes.
Yeah.
These guys risk a lot of life and limb, to be honest with you. I get in a car with someone they don't really know and have no idea whether they can buy the car or not,
Well, some places they'll just put a tag on it
and let
take
you
it-
go.
let you go around the block and say, come back in 15 or
Yeah,
whatever.
and most of them do that. But, they're really taking there's a lot of people that will try to see homes that are not qualified. I mean, I know a lot of young agents or newer agents, so if you fog a mirror, they're like, okay. But I think car dealers need to make a kind of a business model change where you have to do something like go on Capital One Auto and at least do the pre-qual. They don't even it doesn't go, it's not a ding against your credit, but it will give them some idea of whether or not you should be standing in a Mercedes dealership. I'm just saying. Or listen, it's not even just Mercedes. Chevrolet, a lot of these trucks are $80,000, $100,000. Any dealership should really, they need to change that business model.
Yeah, don't waste my time. If you can't afford it,
It's okay. I mean,
totally fine. But don't waste my time.
if you're bored on a Saturday, this is not, And I think that in talking to them, they're like, that would be awesome.
Go to a car show if you're bored.
Right. 100%. And and that's what when I get clients that don't want to do the pre-qualification, which is fine. I'm not saying you have to. Then just go to open houses.
My question is, why wouldn't you, just so you know where you stand and
I think a lot of
get like your
I think
hopes
that's
up?
a great question. They do it because they aren't really serious. They're just kind of playing with the idea, or they're
So
kicking
that's a great thing to go into with the social media of all these people posting. Are they really what they say they are?
Oh, absolutely. And I was telling Susan when we first got here, I said, I swear for God, I was, looking at TikTok last night, which is really, the sign of true boredom. And I think TikTok has become the new HGTV. It's like HGTV 2.0 because you have this entire segment of real estate agents on TikTok talking about how much they're making, what their life, it's realtor life. Like, oh, I just got a 2.2 million under contract this morning, and now I'm going to do mimosas with my friends for lunch. And then I'm, not only that, there's another whole segment where they're going, how much do you, what's your biggest month in real estate? Or they'll say, what did you make? How much are you making? Okay, January this, February. Why are they? I mean, I get it. They're getting hits and they're getting likes and they're getting followers, but how do you know as a general public if this is true? What they're saying is true?
Even if it is true, do we know? Number one, what difference does it make? Number two, just because you have a $30,000 commission or $50,000 commission or whatever it is, the most poignant question would be, how have you invested your money? Just because you
made it,
just because you got a check for 30 grand doesn't mean you have 30 grand.
No.
It could mean that you have 200 grand on your credit card.
And you're leasing a $1,200 a month vehicle that, you shouldn't be driving anyway. And I think too, and you said this earlier, and I'm going to give you credit for saying this, they're talking about how much they're making financially. None of them are talking about the lives they're changing and the families they're helping in their communities.
Right. It doesn't matter. I think that is a mind shift of, if you go into a transaction and the first thing you think about is the commission, that's icky.
It is icky.
I mean, what are you really, yes, we do this for a living and we get paid to do it.
Yep.
Just like anybody else goes to their job and they get paid to do it.
Right.
But we are helping people with most of the time with the biggest financial commitment of their life.
100%. And a lot of people, especially the ones who like first-time home buyers, whatever that be, I have actually had first-time, and that does not connotate a young person. I have had first-time home buyers who are in their 60s.
Sure.
This is like it is like the biggest thrill of their life, and it makes an indelible mark on them forever. And what I do find most curious is the content creators on TikTok that are saying, I'm making, my life is about, wine spritzers and, selling $1 million properties. The ones who are truly making content going, how do you handle yourself in a home inspection? What does an EMD mean? What is, how do you go about they don't have nearly the interest or nearly the followers that these folks doing the splashy stuff. And then what really is most concerning to me is the splashy creators will have people in their comment section saying, you're an inspiration. I want to be like you. I'm going to go into real estate because of your content. What?
Well,
you're going to go into real estate. You're going to go into a 1099 self-employed profession based on the splashy TikTok, IG, whatever of some kind. How do you know what they're telling you is true? That's what I would love to know, that answer. I mean, how do you know that they sold a 2.2?
Here it is. Even if it is true,
right?
when you go to work every day, you don't get a paycheck. So you may want to rethink that unless you're...
It's the glam. They're getting all sidetracked with the glam.
Well, I think it's also the generations coming up in the past couple of years where like seeing what they see and they think that they are going to be like that tomorrow.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't matter what, like I'm going to be a YouTuber, you know what I'm saying? And
They don't see the work that it took behind the scenes.
Yeah. That it took 10 years to get to where they're at type of deal.
Right.
And that's everything nowadays.
Right. And that's what I mean by the whole HGTV mindset. What you talk about, everything's about mindset. Can you do what these people are doing if what they're saying is true? Absolutely. I mean, I know a lot of successful realtors. I know people, they don't lead with this. They don't lead with telling you what they've made. I mean, there's people on social media that are listing out their income levels at different increments in the month. Why? To what? Why? Dear Lord Jesus, why?
If my husband did that and he is not...
He would not have a job.
Well, and he would not be married to me for very long because why are you...
Projecting that?
Who cares how much money you make? Stop. If you have to tell me how much money you make, I'm super unimpressed.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
So I think, if you just said, a lot of successful realtors, there are a ton out there. The ones that I am most impressed with and the ones that I follow are not telling me how much money they make, are not putting their fancy cars, are not putting their $500,000 boats, are not doing any of that because they're classy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Act like you've been there before.
Oh my God, that is the best line. I'll think, is it Herschel Walk? I can't remember. It's not Herschel. It's because he's passed away. It's they called him Sweetness. He played for the Bears, and whoever, I got someone screaming at their radio right now, trying to say, but he was a football player, he was a running back, and his son went to college, played football in college, and he always told his son, "You're not going to showboat on the field." And so his son, goes and makes a touchdown, and he's, doing his little happy dance, and he looks in the stands. His dad's like, and he said, act like you expected to get to the end zone, not like that you can't believe you got there.
Yeah.
And I absolutely think that's a thing. Whether and real estate is such a cyclical environment, whether, it's a good year for you or a bad year, whatever, and there are not any really bad years, in my opinion. There might be some where you're doing some more learning and investigating and committing to yourself to take more classes and to become a better agent for your clients. There might be years where, the milk and honey may not be flowing as readily. I still think it's a good year because you are educating yourself and you're continuing to be an advocate for your community. That being said, I don't know of any other profession that's licensed by any state that makes or has the potential for higher income levels that are out there on social media. I mean, how many cardiologists have you seen putting their income?
What would be interesting for next time if we were to circle back on this? If you were to go into I think I can do it as a broker. If I can go into Broker Metrics and say, okay, there are 2,000 realtors, how many of those realtors sold more than 6 houses last year?
Absolutely. That would be great content. That'd be good information. Because the National Association of Realtors states that in their research, the average realtor sells 4 to 6.
Don't be average.
Thank you, dear Jesus. Don't be average. Listen, and I got to tell you, the people that want to follow content creators because of the splashy let me tell you what, Susan, I know for a fact, your life is not stiletto heels and skirts. Okay. There are days that you're dressed up because of your audience, the client you're meeting. And then there are days where you've got a bandana tied around your head and you're, what is that fun saw thing you have in your office that you you love desperately.
I love her. My Inventables, my CNC machine. Yeah, my router. Yeah.
That is what, to me, and myself, I mean, there are days where I have got work boots on, trudging through mud at a new construction site, or sinking into the sod that they just had to lay so Chesterfield County would give them the certificate of, so they can close on the stupid thing, or whatever. I mean, I have been in situations last summer. I had a gal, an older lady, who I sold her home. She moved. She went to another state. 2 days before closing, you get that little sound in your head. I need to check that house because she says it's ready for the walkthrough, but she's already U-hauled her ass to another state. And I walk in heels and a dress coat. The house is a complete disaster. It looks like it's never been swept or mopped in its entire life.
That lady was the bane of your existence.
I have created different business models because of her. You know what I mean?
Well, she taught you something.
She taught me something. It's always a learning experience. And had the air conditioning turned off on a June day that it must have been 98% humidity and 95 degrees outside.
Oh, God.
So
Devil's ass crack was in that room. And
Devil's ass crack was, and I literally gathered myself. I walked out. I went home. I put on shorts, a t-shirt, put my hair in a ponytail. I put on my, tennis shoes. I grabbed cleaning supplies, trash bags. And not only did she leave it completely unclean, went to the point where it was tacky. There was just food stuff everywhere. The stove had never been.
That's disgusting.
It's ridiculous. And she had an entire primary bedroom linen closet full of stuff. That's what it really looks like to be a real. And I am sweating like nobody's business, packing up her stuff, cleaning the house. I mean, sweeping, mopping, vacuuming. I mean, and then I leave there, take her items, go to UPS, have them box her things, and to the tune of, it cost me almost $100 easy to ship her stuff to her. I have not been thanked. I've not been called. Only thing she wanted to know was when her funds would clear, when she was going to see her proceeds. That is what real estate looks like.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with wearing high heels and little A-line skirts and going to, mimosa bars with your girlfriends.
No.
And so it gets under my skin when I see content. Listen, content is content, and do you and talk to your audience. But when you've got people in your feed who are making comments about how they are going to change professions to look like you, come on, man.
Do you?
Just, you need to watch who you're talking to and what impression you might be making on people. Because that's not what real estate is about. It is realtors living in communities, connecting people to those communities, and helping people still achieve the American dream. I still believe in that. I was a dental hygienist. I had to write
Do not talk about that hairy tongue.
I'm not going to talk about the hairy tongue.
Okay.
But I had to take a English literature writing class as part of to be honest with you, I don't, because we do a lot of research in dentistry, or, a lot of peer reviewed research. I had my thesis, unbeknownst to me what I was going to be, fast forward however many years later, my thesis was, is homeownership still the American dream? That was what I thought to write about for my end of the year paper. Not ever thinking I'd ever be, and real estate was not in my lane, my head. What caused me as a dental hygiene student to write? Everybody was writing about their, because there was all kinds of, different.
It's just so.
Isn't that weird?
It's so taken for granted.
And I just think that
that
is still how Americans see owning a home, and we need to treat it with more reverence
and respect. Yeah.
Do you think the old school, how real estate's been done, and new school, there's a kind of colliding still?
in certain degrees, I think that's true. And I know, there's some teams, and you and I could spew them off here, that don't do social media at all and are killing it. I mean, I know real estate teams that are, they don't post and do videos of themselves. They just, their agents might do some things, but
I know one agent who I adore. I mean, adore her. Would put her on my mantle and just let her sit there. She's precious. Single agent, probably in her 70s. By herself last year sold $44 million.
I love it.
By herself. My girl doesn't own a social media account.
And never will.
And is damn good at her job. Like,
she's a hustler. She's a grinder.
Yeah.
She's
a relationship builder is what she is.
100%. And she gives this business reverence.
Yes. And that's what I think it needs to go back to. I'm not against content creators in anything new. I mean, I think you have to reach an audience. Like myself and Susan, I think will agree with this. I want to attract people that would be naturally drawn to me. I want to attract my tribe. You know what I mean? Now, so what does that mean? How do I attract my tribe? The way I go about it, I'm a big networker. I love to go to, I love to connect with people. I love to help other people's businesses grow. I'm referral based, just like you are. I'd rather be like that. And every time I turn around, my wonderful past clients always are, thinking of me and sending me their friends and family, and are asking questions, or do I need to buy a second home, or whatever it is. And there's just this wonderful familiarity and this just delightful closeness that makes this business so enjoyable.
Yeah.
And that I don't know, I don't want to do it any other way. I do enough social media to get myself in trouble. I don't really, Michael will go, have you posted that yet? I'm getting to it.
Oh, I'm terrible with my stuff. I'm
don't
more concerned about everyone else's. I always, like Eddie said, oh, we didn't post that yet. I'm like, oh, God.
Well, it's just like going to Realtor Fest. I'm like, there are people in here who are taking pictures and video of themselves throughout this entire thing, and their entire feed is going to be nothing but that. And I didn't take one picture, I did not take one video, and I posted not one thing.
Right.
This is the second year in a row that I didn't have a booth. And I was like, I'm okay.
I think you're fine.
I didn't
18,
go.
and she didn't go. 18, I think you had a booth, didn't you? Because they skipped 20.
I started,
20.
yeah, whatever. Like
And
whatever
then
the
this
last
was
one
the
I did,
first time since
I had a
18.
two-spotter.
Because it's every
and
2 years.
big corner and all
Right.
that. I was dirty looks.
It's fun and
dirty looks from the
everything.
competitors. And
The old two-spotter.
The
Yeah.
2-spot.
The old classic corner two-spotter is what you had.
yeah.
And I think it's fine and well and good, but my first thing is not to think, how do I monetize or take advantage of where I am to make me look groovy and get thumbs up and clicks and whatever on social media? That it never occurs to me. I'm like, pew,
Yeah, it's just a different way of doing things. I mean,
and it's probably an age thing.
no. I mean, it's just a mindset of the audience. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? If
Right.
you know you have that audience, then it's going to matter in certain things. But,
Right.
Like I don't post that much. And when I do, it's just something that I think is going to bring traction a little bit, for business wise. But I don't want to cloud up every house or every picture,
Right.
bazillion, things. Because it's going
Listen, this business has been very good to me. But I have also worked my tail off.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
yeah.
So but a couple of things. I didn't get here by myself.
Absolutely.
I did not get here by myself. It took a village. It took my team. It took my husband. It took my kids. It took my friends. I mean, you don't get anywhere.
Well, and the
by yourself.
mentors along the way that were mentoring you and you didn't even realize them at the time.
Yeah.
The wonderful people, the agents who just share and give.
Yes. So
They're a blessed group of people.
yeah. So I love this business.
Yes.
And I am happy to share it with people who, want to get into the business. I will tell you, though, you better have 2 years of savings when you get into real estate.
Right. Yeah.
So I
Get
think
ready.
that is the truth.
Or a job that you can do both, where it's something that you have going already that gives you the flexibility to be able to get your foot in the door and build and build and build type of deal, where you can have that constant
I think
going.
we're going to she and I are going to
No, I understand that. I'm just saying,
Dif-
in some places, yeah, you want to be all in. But I think in the beginning, when you know you have that up cost,
yeah.
that's going to be a little difficult. But I agree.
Well, I
2
think
years
the
of-
reason
2
I'm
years.
saying is to have 2 years worth of savings.
Yeah.
So you can jump in.
Well, because you've also got to know how to budget.
Yeah.
So if you don't have 2 years worth of savings and you want to get into a 100% commission sales job,
Because I can't tell you the number.
of people who get that $50,000 check, let's say they
It's
did
gone.
sell $1.5 million, $2 million home, and they get that $50,000 check,
Well, when's the next one?
and she gone, and you
Yeah.
like you haven't saved anything, you haven't done.
Well,
I mean,
it's-
it's a really tough. You don't know when your next check is coming.
Well, you don't. And I, have seen on social media where someone will get their first $7,500 or $8,000, an average check here in, Richmond metro area for selling a home. And they, the next thing you know, they show themselves at the Kate Spade outlet in Williamsburg, or they've bought a new car or whatever it is. And I think what Susan is alluding to about budgeting, during COVID, I remember when all that kind of hit, the introvert in me was like, oh, you mean I get to stay home with the dog and eat chicken fiesta and watch Netflix and no one is going to mess with me? I mean, I thought it was like a little mini vacay.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
didn't hate it either.
I didn't hate it. And I had about 3 weeks in, I have agents calling me all in a panic, and they're like, well, what's going to happen? And da, da, da. And, I don't have any sales. And I'm like, that's where, living below your means kind of comes into play. Because literally, first thing I do when I sit down with a new agent is we are going to set up a business checking account. You are going to have monies and pay yourself a salary regardless of what your total income for that month is. Because there will be months that there is no income coming in. And you just don't spend what comes in. I've worked for dentists who whatever came across the counter, that's how their lifestyle was. If it takes you $5,000 a month to live, I don't know. I don't care. The first of every month, you pay yourself, and you live on it.
Well, plus, it's better to pay yourself a salary when tax time rolls around than to have not paid yourself a salary,
Correct.
and then you get to pay taxes on all of that.
Yes.
Do you pay quarterly?
Yes, but I mean, it's what she's talking about is, so she is, the business is the employer and she's an employee.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it changes how your taxes
Yeah.
as the employee side.
Yeah.
If you
So,
pay yourself a salary,
you-
and that's a wonderful strategy because there's a lot of people, I mean, even today I'll talk to agents and they're like, they have their direct deposit right into their family account. I'm like, Uncle
you an
Sam, no likey that.
Are you an LLC?
Yes.
Yeah. Somewhere.
Yes. You have to be.
Yeah.
Mine's set up a little different because of the
Brokerage is a
Brokerage,
whole
yeah,
different
yeah,
entity.
yeah.
But I mean, and that to dovetail back on what we started talking about, when people are being influenced by influencers, let's just all get real here, y'all. You're letting yourself be influenced by someone who is trying to influence you, who call themselves influencers. If you think that you're going to mimic what they're doing, I suggest you go to a local brokerage, or you become friends, or you find a mentor in the community that you want to be a realtor, and find out how it's really going down.
Right. It's like if you see an influencer who is 5'10" and weighs 114 pounds, and you see that influencer in a dress that you love, and you order same dress, and you're 5 feet tall and 180 pounds, it's going to look a little different. Your influencer just screwed you. Samesies.
It's right.
It's the
but
same.
That's the thing. It's the same thing. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
You know, you do, oh, you know, my favorite thing is now, and I don't know why this is happening. You know how they have, Michael might have to tell me what it's called, but like, you know, no matter what you're shopping for, or it's almost like they read your mind. I think Alexa, that little bitch, I think she sends.
She listens. So does your
She
phone.
listens to shit. And then the next thing I know, I'm seeing all these ads. So I would like to know why on Instagram, anybody who is a health person or wants to sell wrinkle cream hits me up. I mean, am I that wrinkly? I don't know. I think it's the age, but I think that it's like they see a certain demographic and then that's what they go after. You must be careful about what you, from an advertising perspective, because influencer advertisers, that's what they're doing. It's a marketing thing.
Yeah.
They're building their brand by marketing a lifestyle that they know you think is cool.
So give me a wrinkle cream and let's see if it shows up. The name of a wrinkle cream.
I don't, because I never click on it. I don't know.
So, all right, I'm going to give you one that shows up on mine. Is a sweater brand called Wooden Ships.
Okay. Nice.
Okay.
I
Cute
like
little
the
sweaters.
name.
Cute little sweaters. Let's see. Let's do a little experiment and see if Wooden Ships
Okay.
shows up on your feed.
Okay. Later. Well, now that we've said it,
Yeah.
right?
It's just a little experiment. When people are like, they're not listening. I'm like, oh, they're listening.
Oh, they're listening.
Oh,
Somebody's
they're listening, sister.
Somebody's listening.
Somebody's always listening.
Now, they've not heard me when I say really good guy, tall, you know.
Well, you know,
Send one of those my way.
there's back end settings that you can turn that feature off for your apps. Just to let you know.
Michael did not get what I
Just
What
to
is
let you
this?
know.
That just went over.
Oh my gosh! Yes. All right, we're gonna
Little Nino.
take a pause.
Oh, Nitro.
We're gonna take a pause.
You had to bring up that shit. I was hoping he was going to forget that.
So today we're gonna do a little challenge. It's
Michael,
the gummy
come
bear
on,
challenge.
brah. What time?
All right, I'm down.
Let's
What
do
is
So
it.
it's hot. So I love fireballs.
Okay.
So where do you find this stuff? Little Nitro, the world's hottest gummy bear.
Well, it's in good hands with me. See what I did there?
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah, just wasn't that funny. I get it. Oh my gosh, it looks. Look,
There's one. The package was $49.99. No, I mean, how much is stuff like that?
I think they're like $10 a piece or something like that.
shut
And
up.
this is what you get.
Yeah.
Is it supposed to?
Now,
So
here's
you
the thing.
literally
there's
went-
a smaller version. There's a huge one, like the size of your arm, that you could buy. But I went for that one.
Is there habanero in here, or what's the deal?
Yeah,
A
it's
little
the-
Nitro challenge. I might have to put my glasses on for this.
Oh, when it doesn't smell spicy, you know it's gonna absolutely bite you in the butt.
It doesn't even smell spicy.
Are you supposed to eat it all at the same time, or
If you want to.
a little bite at a time?
If you want to.
We want you to make the best of Little Nitro. Video this on the internet and post your video on YouTube.
Oh, it says that?
You've got to do that with hashtag Little Nitro Challenge for a chance to be featured on our 8 social media platforms.
There you go.
Speaking of an influencer,
Wow, what
I
a
think
great
we're-
tie. What a
All right,
great
so
way to tie
Are
up.
we going in?
Let's do it.
I might taste.
Just take a small bite.
I might take a small bite. Oh,
No, that's too small, Susan. Just go for it.
Holy cow!
what is this? I got to get it open.
No! You don't even have to bite into. Oh my God!
What
that'll
just happened
kill
to me?
somebody.
Oh my God!
Oh, lips are on fire.
If you just touch your tongue to it,
Oh my God! What is that?
holy potatoes, Batman!
That is
My whole mouth is on fire, and all I've done is touch my tongue to it.
that is a terrible trick. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Not bad.
Oh,
All right, so
I was like, oh, I'm gonna pop this in like a fireball.
oh, she was talking smack, like big talk,
I was. I'm never.
and you're
gonna
not
do
talking
that
it
again.
anymore.
Hey, bring it home to your husband. See what he do.
Mommy, help!
That's terrible stuff. That is burning my top lip and my bottom lip and the tip of my tongue. Fuck. You're going back in your box, little Nitro.
I think I dropped my. Where's my box? There it is. Yeah.
Does this have a warning label on it?
It should. Maybe it could
No, for reals. Does
create
it?
a heart attack.
Look, I didn't even bite into it.
Me neither. I my mouth is like on fire. It's like
The world's.
you're laughing to the point where he's literally almost falling over.
Did you try it?
Listening audience, this is what we are subjected to.
Oh my gosh, is this going to be there the rest of the day? That's not even funny.
I would say something, but I'm
Like-
not going to.
Ugh.
Honestly, I didn't know it was gonna be that bad when you touched it.
I thought it was going to be.
I thought it was gonna take time.
You don't I'm telling
It's
you.
getting worse as it goes. Shit.
It's not going away. I'm like, yep.
It's getting worse as it goes. Oh, it is. It's intensifying.
You know what
Susan,
happened
I'm
is
so
I bit
glad.
into it. You didn't bite into it.
Yeah, I don't need to.
Because I warned you. Because that's what friends do.
That is because you care.
I did not know it was gonna be this bad.
It's rough. This going into the.
I did not know. Honestly, I did not know.
What's in there? Ghost pepper?
It's probably a ghost. Oh.
Susan's like, I like hot. I'll do it.
Oh yeah, I like anything spicy. I'm good.
You imagine there's someone on video that ate the big one.
Well, there's Satan.
You know what I'm saying?
That's someone
So-
who has.
So when I looked it up,
gastro-
I found that. I was like, oh, okay, that shouldn't be that bad.
that should not be that bad.
Are you lit?
Everything's
Because I did it.
tingling and it's intensifying as we are going through this process. And I don't drink milk, but I think I'm gonna have to go get some milk.
I'll go get
What
Brooklyn's
is in
milk.
this? Is it acid? And not like
Not the good stuff.
not like I dropped acid, but like I
I drank
drank like
Drano.
right. I don't know why I'm looking at the box and have my glasses on.
Well,
That's
we're gonna have to say goodbye because we need medical attention at this point. So like, subscribe,
are my lips getting bigger?
all that. I'm gonna have to take Susan to the emergency room now, and we love yous.
Luckily, St. Francis is close.
Yeah, we love all y'all, and we can't wait.
That's a local hospital, by the way, not like
St. Francis.
She feels close though right now. Whoever made this should be ashamed of themselves.
No,
If
whoever gave this to us should be ashamed of
If a
themselves.
little child got hold of this, that would be bad.
Well, that's what I'm saying. My son,
wants to try it.
I wanted to try. I was like, no, buddy.
It
I
is
don't-
not happening.
It's not happening.
No.
Well, that's
You will end up in the ER.
we are 10-4, good buddy, and catch you on the fly.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Real Estate and Bourbon podcast hosted by Dawn Roy. Have real estate or bourbon questions or a juicy story you want us to talk about? Call our hotline at 804-293-0550 and maybe you can be on our podcast. This has been a Studio 77 production. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow the Real Estate and Bourbon podcast.